So morning, we discuss about the time complexity calculation, right? I share my screen.
Ma'am.
All of you can see my screen, right?
Yes, ma'am.
You can see the canvas.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So in the morning, we discuss about how to calculate time complexity, right? For loop, everyone understood, right? For loop, what we do, expression is like this. Okay, so for any for loop, it will always run for n times. Okay, the basic one means the general one. It will run for n times, and the statement will take constant time. Correct? This one already clear? Correct? Yes or no?
Ma'am, yes, ma'am. Yes,
So your time complexity time will be your n. So for normal, you just multiply the statement part. Maybe you can mute yourself now. When I ask, you can unmute yourself. Okay. Okay. So if you multiply this thing, it will be Cn square. Correct? This one is clear. So when we are going to express it as
Ma'am, for uh,
हाँ,
this is Cn only, ना?
क्या क्या what
C into n only, constant. मैम इसमें बस C और n ही है ना? n square कहाँ से आ गया?
n square अब तक नहीं आया. This is single for loop. This is not
Okay,
less
okay.
than
For
nested.
loop के लिए. Okay.
Yes, can't you see it's just written for loop. So for single one for loop, single for loop, we just simply see it. Now if you use asymptotic notation, then it will convert into on because we are just going to neglect this sixth part. Okay. What happens in nested for loops? There will be two for loops. One for loops and there will be another for loops. Okay. It will be same. Again there will be some statement. So when you have two for loops, then one will take n number, other will take also n number, and this one will take c. It will be same, but because this for loop is inside your other for loop because it's nested one, so when you multiply it for this one, it will be simply n into c. So your complexity will be cn square. Correct? Is it clear? For single for loop, total time is n because your loop will run for n number of times. So for second for loop also, it will take another n number of times, and since it is nested, one for loop is inside another for loop, it will take total n square. N statement will take constant. We are going to neglect this constant part. Okay, this one is clear, right? Now, if we think about the consecutive for loops, like any other statements like A equal B, we have one for loop here. Then we have another for loop. Now, in this case, this is not nested, correct? It is nested for loop. Yes, no?
No.
So, each will take single time. This one will take n number of times. This one will also take n number of times.
And number 10.
This one will be constant time. So this statement will also take another constant. So you just need to add up all these things. Yes, Partha said addition, correct. So you just need to add up the individual lines, number 1, number 2 and number 3. But this one will be multiplication because this statement is inside your for loop. So it will be Cn. Here also it will be C2n. If your statement is not the part of your loop, then you are just going to add up individual time complexity or time units for each instruction or lines. If it's a nested one, then you need to consider the inside portion too, then you need to just multiply. So for single one, you are just going to multiply. Again for single one, you are just going to multiply Cn, and this one is single one. So we will just add up. Okay. Now the if else one. You guys had confusion in that part, right? If condition, then there will be some statement, then again else, then there will be some statement. That time I gave you example of like O(n) and O(n) square. In the morning session, I said just think that for this if condition part, the time complexity is O(n), and for this else part, there will be the complexity is n square. So when it will be O(n), when will it be O(n)? Tell me what should be the condition inside the if condition when the time complexity
For
will be
loop.
O(n). What did you say?
For loop, ma'am.
For loop. Yes, correct. So suppose inside this if statement condition there is a for loop. So it will take O(n) numbers. Then there can be another condition too. Maybe there is no for loop inside your if statement. Correct? It's also possible that there is no for loop inside your if statement. Then also the if, because it will check the condition for n number of times. In case the condition is like if I equal to less than n. Okay, conditions are something like this, or suppose if I equal to less than equal to n or something. So anyway, it will check this condition whether it's true or not. Right? That means it is depending on input size n. So anyway, its condition will be O(n). Now remember in the for loop in the first in the slide, the cost was like 3, and for loop the time taken by a for loop was n plus 1. Remember from the slide I shared in the group too. Wait, can you see the screen now, the PPT? Can you all see the PPT, or you can still
Yes,
see
ma'am.
the canvas PPT, right? Okay. See here, I mentioned here the time taken for this for loop is n plus 1, correct? That one was for your false condition, right? So when comparison will be false, then it will take extra 1 unit. But here I am just showing the general rule, right? Because it's not going to consider the constant part anyway. So here as well, the else part will take some amount of time, correct? So here if statement is checking whether condition is true or not. So if your condition is true, so it will keep checking or comparing with n number of elements or input size. So your complexity will be O(n). You can say Cn maybe. Then for else also it will take some amount of time. So here also it may be constant time, or it can be O(n) time, or it can be also O(n) square depending on your code inside. Okay, so it will mainly depend on your code. I just gave you the example Just to imagine that suppose inside the else loop there is a nested loop condition. Okay, are you getting my point? Why I wrote O(n) square? That was just an example. Just think, inside the if condition we have one for loop for which we have time complexity O(n). Then for else inside else also there is kind of nested loop. That's why our complexity is O(n) square. That was just only for you to understand. So if your total expression is like Cn square plus Cn plus C, we are only going to take this part. Why is it so? Because it's asymptotic notations, right? That means it's approaching some value or curve. So why we only consider this O(n) square? We can see from this part the running time is increasing like 2 times than Cn part. Correct or not? Are you getting my point? Yes, no. Answer.
Once again, repeat it, please.
Okay. Which part you want me to repeat? Or you want me to repeat whole thing? Okay, for simplicity, just think we don't have any for loop or something. We just have if condition statement and else
Buji by show.
again statement. Correct? So for this condition it will take n times and for this statement it will take C times. And again for else also, if there is only printing thing, suppose if condition is wrong, it will take some amount of time, maybe it will be this constant time. So in this case, your complexity will be Cn and time complexity will be simply n. This one is correct, easily understood.
Yes, ma'am. Neglect हुआ कि नहीं बुझी हुआ ना.
Kuntu? Acha, ठीक है, मैं बेलेग एक example. Suppose we can represent an algorithm like 20n squared plus 5n plus 4. Or then there is another one, 10n plus 4. In this case, you see, we have two n terms. One is 20n squared and one is 5n. So, according to you, which part is contributing highest for your running time? Answer me that one first. See, I already mentioned we are just going to ignore in case of asymptotic notation, we just provide some boundaries, right? So we are just going to disregard all the constant term and insignificant part. Okay. So which one is more significant to you to calculate the running time, the worst case of your algorithm? Which one?
20 n square.
N square, right? Why n square? 20 n square to के लिए important है 5 n के. Suppose your n value is 10, right? So 20 n square term to gane কি হবো 20 into 10 square means 20 into 100, so total 200. For 5n term কি হবো 5 into 10, it's 50, correct? So which term is giving you the maximum time to execute an algorithm? Just this part, right?
2001.
Yes, তার মানে the more you increase the value of input, the more time it is going to take to complete the program. Okay, since only this part is moving along with the time, that means we are just going to take this part only. In asymptotic notation, we will always ignore the constant factors and the insignificant part of an expression just to make it manageable. Right? You cannot see, it's a bit difficult for us, for anyone, to analyze this whole term, right? 20n square plus 5n. If you analyze this one, it's going to take, means you have to see which part is more significant. If you know that calculating only this part is already okay, it's already giving you answer, you should not complicate it more, right? If you can just disregard or ignore some part, you are just going to ignore it. And asymptotic notations are all about these things. They provide some boundary, right? So for your big O notation, it provides the upper boundary. So if you say your upper boundary should be 20n square. So below n square, you give any number. It will always stay inside the boundary. Correct? Are you getting my point?
Yeah.
Is it clear?
Clear.
See, we always should worry about how the function will grow as the value of n or input will grow. And here in this case, it will entirely depending on n squared term. বুঝি পাইছা? Okay, আৰু এটা example কোৱা.
পাইছো পাইছো
যদি এতিয়া দিওঁ 10n cube, 10n square, 10n plus 5. Which one you are going to consider?
10n
Ma'am,
cube.
10 and cube.
Yes, correct. We are only going to consider this 10n cube portion. Why? Because only this term is
Yeah.
giving you the maximum time that an algorithm or program can take. Therefore, we will simply ignore this part. We'll take only this part. Is it
Okay,
clear
ma'am.
to you guys?
Okay.
Okay. So we always find this expression first. For any program or algorithm, we first try to find a expression what will be the total running time. Suppose after evaluating, we get the time expression is something like this. So after doing this, we no need to analyze all other things. We can just think about the this one, because only this n square term is giving you maximum time to execute the time, because it's also means growing along with the input size. This one is also growing with the input size, just the difference is not as much as is this time. Suppose here I am giving the example n equal to 10. If your n equal to 1000 or 1 million, then just think about the term how big it is going to be. So this is the most significant part. So whatever will be the highest number, it will take that part only. Okay. Then these are, suppose On is your linear. Okay. So now on you will get different types of asymptotic notation, or you can say time complexity. So if you say n times, it's linear. Linear means it's just linearly increasing with the input size. Then there will be n squared term, like you just saw now. So this one is quadratic. So you know, right? This is a quadratic equation when you have square terms. I hope all of you know that already. Then we have n cube. N cube is cubic. Then again we are going to have some logarithmic. So we have order. We can just follow some of the orders which is going to take more time. The smallest amount of time is going to take 0, 1. means constant time. For example, in your linear search or any other search in algorithm, if your first element is the exact element you are looking for, then it will be always O1. If only one step is involved. So one step
Okay.
after that comes O log n, logarithmic notations. So when we will get log n, we will get this log n value in, like, when we are going to divide the input size into two halves, like in your binary search or different sorting algorithms. When we use divide and conquer approach, have you guys heard of divide and conquer approach? Any idea about that? Any idea about divide and conquer? Oh, divide and any idea about this term?
Ma'am, this was taken by Britishers.
My voice is बहुत lower. Can you please repeat?
Ma'am, programming or context no?
Just normal concept. Just normal concept.
Ma'am, British বোৰে use কৰিছিলে no? India
Yes,
কব্জা কৰিবৰ
correct,
কাৰণে.
correct. Yes, divide and conquer means what? You are not going to go for all the whole bunch of inputs. So you are just going to divide your work into small parts, then you will proceed. Suppose I have lots of work now. If I try to do all this work parallelly at a time, of course, it will take lots of time. So if I divide my work into some halves, then I start that I'll just do this work in the first half and this work in the second half. Then it will be easier for me. So similarly, in case of programming also, there is a divide and conquer approach. What we do, like in linear search, we just search for an particular element one at a time, correct? So in binary search, what we do, we do not look for the whole array or whole list. We just divide the whole input size into half, okay? We just divide the input size into half, okay? After doing that half, we are going to search our element into one half. If it's not present, then we will means present, then we are going to again divide that portion as well. So in every iteration or every time, we are going to divide the array into half. So whenever we will follow this type of rule, divide and conquer, we are going to divide the input size. It is going to take log n time. Okay. So after log n, it comes on. Remember, this one is the fastest. Then log n is faster. Then it goes on. So you can see n time is a bit more than log n time. If some algorithm like your linear search has complexity of on and your binary search has complexity of log n, that means your binary search is faster than linear search. Okay. Then comes your n log n. That one is for quick sort. And then comes your O(n) square. Then will come O(n) cube and so on. Okay. So if you see any algorithm or program that takes log n, that means it's really fast. It takes O1 time, that means of course it's the fastest. Okay. For this log n part, how we can get a log n? Remember in the for loop, I mentioned your structure is 0, I less than n, then I plus plus. This one is your general structure, right? Correct? This one is your general. So we already know a for loop will take n. Okay? So when your for loop is going to take log n time, For example, suppose you are not mentioning this ipert here. So for loop, you have only these two statements. One is you are just initializing the value, then you are comparing. So somewhere in the middle inside this for loop, you are going to increment the value into I into 2. You are going to increase in 2 times. So that means you are just dividing it into means you are just taking 2 steps of increment, or you can say you are just simply dividing the input into 2 parts. I'm just giving an example. It's not like it will be always like this. No, it's not like this. Main point is whenever you are going to divide the input size into 2 halves, your complexity is going to be log n. I'll even show it later when we will learn about binary search. Okay, so for the time being, just know in the for loop case, generally with the initialization one takes always n times. When we don't initialize it, we just increment it by 2, means we just dividing the input size into 2, that means it's going to log n. I'll show the expression later on. Okay, so today I just show we the binary search one. Okay, so is this clear to you guys how we can calculate time? Simple, like you don't need to think about the cost and all. You can just simply see what is the loop you are using, what is the statement and all. So if you see any for loop inside your program, then you will know that that part of program is taking O(n) time. If your program consists of only one for loop, even if it's consecutive for loop, it is going to take n number of times, log O(n) times. Okay, is it clear to all? Is it clear to all? Response, yes ma'am. Okay, okay, okay. Any doubt? You understood how we got n times for loop. We also checked how we can get n square in nested for loops. Correct? The if else statement also, it's very simple. If inside your if statement, anyhow it is going to compare with n number of inputs. So your timing will be Cn. It's constant into n, so it will be On. And for the else part, if there is nothing, it will just take constant time. So I just gave you that time that if your expression is something like n square plus n and all, then we just consider the n square. And we are just simply going to neglect all the constant and insignificant part. Okay. So n square grows faster than your n terms. That's why we consider the n square. Same in case of n cube also. If in your expression is n cube, n square and all, it's going faster with n cube. Okay, I go to linear search. This is not for linear search. You all can see, right? So what is searching? This one I guess all of you already know. Searching means to find one or more than one element from a data set. And we have two types of searching algorithm. One is linear search and one is binary search. What is linear search? It is just a sequential search and we find an item one by one. and it is mostly for any unsorted array or list, and it's mainly used for when your list has small number of elements. So what's the algorithm for this? Suppose you are searching a value in your list. So for each item in the list, you are going to check if the item match item is equal to value or not. If yes, it will simply return the location of that value. Otherwise, it will just end it. Okay, is it clear? Very simple one, very simple. Suppose we have an array here. We have elements 2, 1. And in array, we always provide locations, right? Index is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Is it clear to you guys? These are your values in your array. And these are your index, means location. And in array, your position or location always starts from 0. Correct? So what happens in linear search? So your input size is what? Input size? What is your input size here? What's the input size? Answer.
Ma'am, can you repeat that again?
What is the input size? What's the size of your array? Dilar said 4. One said 5. Is it 5 or 4?
Ma'am, 4.
It's 5. How many elements?
Hmm?
There's just 1, 2, 3,
Okay,
4,
okay.
5. 5 elements. Just that your for array index starts from 0. Always 0. Don't confuse with the number of elements and your location or index. What is input size? Number of elements in your array. How many numbers in your array? There are 5 numbers. So total 5. Index will start from 0 to 4. Okay, so like your for loop, when we write I equal to 1 and I less than equal to n, it will just discard the fifth value. Okay, if I write 5, so it is not going to consider the 5, it will just consider 4. If you start from 1, then you have to write less than equal to, or if you want to write only less than, you need to put it as 6. Okay, so for this array, what you want to find? Target, which one you want to? It's going to end. Okay, anyways, I'm just finishing it. Okay, suppose your target is number 4. You want to search 4 in this array. So first, you will compare 4 with first element. So is it a match? Is 2 equal to 4? No, right? Since no, it will move to the next element. And is your 5 is equal to 4? No, right? So your pointer will move to next location. Now it's checking whether it's 4 equal to 4. Is it? It is yes. Therefore, it will simply return the 4 and the location of 4. What's the location of 4? Location of 4 in terms
2.
of array is 2. But for us in general case, it's a third number element. Okay. So if I want to search for target is 2, what will be the complexity here? This is your first element. How much time it is going to take? It's going sequentially, right? One at a time. So if your target is 2, if you are looking for 2, your first element is 2 itself. So it's just taking one step. Therefore, worst case time complexity will be simply 1. So when your element is at the first position, that means that is your best case. I'm representing is ON because most of the time we just simply use the big O notation, but for the best case we use big omega. Correct? Now what will be the worst case? Suppose if I want to, the target is 1. Okay, so you have to go through all these elements. After finishing the whole, means searching for the whole array, in the end you will get this target value 1. So your comparison is n. You are comparing with the n number of times. Now I look for the proof. Here also anyway we are looking, means comparing number of elements. So it is depending on n only. So it also worst case is n. Is it clear to you guys? Because in linear search we are going to compare item one at a time. So it's comparing every time with one of the elements. So worst case is the n. For the best case, it will take just one step because it's just in the front. Is it clear to you guys? Linear search. I'm going to give you the program in the group. You guys can run and let me know if you understood the program and if you can find the complexity. Okay. I already told you it's n, but you can give me the full expression. Means the whole expression from where you got the OM. Okay. It's going to finish soon. Is it okay? Everyone okay with it? Understood? Linear search?
Okay, ma'am.
বুজি পাইছানে সবে লিনিয়াৰ সাৰ্চ কি হয় পিছত কবা এইটো জানাই
बुझा पाए मैं
ओके कोई देख लेते हैं
हेलो मैम
okay I'm stop sharing 14 students I just okay 14 students I'm going to share the program you guys try yourself then you can I actually from next time you all have to share your screen with me so that I can understand you guys really doing your lab classes but not today just you run it maybe tomorrow you can do I have other works too and I want to do my lunch too so anyways